All right, everybody. Moving on to the next session here. I changed up the agenda just a little bit here this afternoon. I did have on the agenda that we were going to do a networking break right now, but we just had lunch, and it seems to make sense to maybe just kind of push through some of these other things. I also gave myself 50 minutes to talk. I don't know what I'm going to talk about for 50 minutes, but I'll fill the time if you let me. These guys know that. What we'll do is if the schedule remains compressed, that'll just put a little bit of time in your pockets at the end of the day to maybe go back to your rooms and get refreshed before going over to the mixer tonight and things like that. So just for anybody that was actually hawking the agenda, you know, we did make a change, a slight change. So hi, I'm Lee. And I'm going to talk about our product roadmap. So a product roadmap for a software company at a very high level is what are the things we're going to be working on in the near to somewhat distant future. For companies like us, it can be features, it can be enhancements, it can be tools, those types of things. We always have our agenda on what we'd like to see our product evolve into. And then we also would like to have all of your feedback as well. So as I talk through this, I'll be asking you for ideas and thoughts on product enhancements and product features. So start thinking about those now if you've got some ideas, and we'll get to them here as we kind of go through. So in 2017, one of our big, we had 3 agenda items for our product roadmap that we wanted to work on. And we're in the middle of 2 of them right now. And the third one we actually kind of had to put on hold for a little bit because it was a really big taco to take a bite out of. And we wanted to make sure we got all our ducks in a row before we get too far down that road. So what we decided to do, and again, we planned this at the end of 2016. The first one was connections needed some new life, right? We'd gotten some feedback that perhaps our user interface was getting a little stale. We wanted to be able to provide new features and functionality and have the application be responsive across different screen sizes and things. And the way it was built, we couldn't accommodate all of those requests. So we made the investment in bringing in Mike Zietlow, who spoke earlier today, to really start to work out what connections is going to evolve into as far as from a user experience standpoint. So that was a pretty significant roadmap item for us. And it's something that we didn't take lightly doing. We're taking an interesting approach. When some companies facelift their software, you guys might have heard me already give this spiel. They might do it all kind of behind the scenes and then say, hey, look, here's our brand new shiny software and here's how it's different. We're taking a little bit of a different approach and actually engaging with the customers as we're going through and making these changes. So we're getting a lot of really good customer feedback and then making it actionable very soon after that feedback is taken so that the customers, at least it's our hope, feel like they're participating in the change. What they're saying is being listened to. And we're able to roll out those changes fairly quickly through Rich and his team on the development side. So that was one of our initiatives for 2017. Another initiative for 2017 was to integrate an analytics package into Connections, right? The fancy charts, graphs, visualizations, dashboards. Hope that guy's okay. Ad hoc reporting. We engaged with Microsoft Power BI late 2016, early 2017, and our plan was to put Power BI into Connections because we're a Microsoft shop. We like Microsoft tools, and we thought it'd be a really good fit. Early 2017, Rich comes into one of our ops meetings and he's like, yeah, Microsoft just changed the way they're going to price their product. The way they're doing Power BI for OEMs is going to be on a usage-based type pricing, and we won't have predictability across our customer base on what it's going to look like. We don't know what it's going to cost us, and we don't know what we're going to end up charging our customers. Some of our customers have thousands and thousands of portal users, right, for their different policyholders. Could you imagine a customer getting a bill for thousands and thousands of dollars because their customers went into the portal and decided to look at some charts and graphs? right? That doesn't scale so well. So we had to back up on that strategy. We'd already built out the framework for it. We put lots of components into the software, so we were already kind of a ways down that road. Rich did a lot of work identifying other vendors, and we went with a company called Izenda. So you might have heard their name bounced around a little bit. And I think our next presentation, Rich and Urias are going to talk about Izenda and show you some of its capabilities. Worked out really well. Izenda is a software shop for guys like us that make software. So it's not really a product that you as an end user would end up buying and using on your desktop. There's other products for that. It's made for guys like us that build software. But the added benefit that we got out of the Izenda product that we didn't necessarily get with Power BI was an ad hoc reporting module, which is really cool too. And being able to build forms and form letters and custom reports, output reports, as well as the visualizations, the dashboards and things. And that project's moving along right now. I think we're working to with GSRMA, right? We're going to put it in their production database. I think Bill has asked us to put it in the beta production database as well. They're going to start playing with it and tinkering with it. So Sam, did you know that? Okay. Just want to make sure that wasn't a surprise to you. All of a sudden, you're going to call call Rick. What the hell are you doing? So the project, it's moving along a little slower than we anticipated, just because of the speed bumps that we had with Microsoft Power BI early on. But we fully expect it to be in full swing here early in 2017 or 2018. I'm sorry. The third 2017 product roadmap item that we had was to start enhancing our claims module to support workers' compensation insurance. We've got property and liability, and we got customers that are using it, and it seems to be working fine. We get good reporting out of it. We get a lot of good feedback from the customers that are using it, but from customers like you, we're getting the, hey, where's the work comp? When are you guys going to work on that? Work comp's a crazy difficult animal on the claim side. It can be. So what we did, if any of you are familiar with the old Valley Oak system, IVOS is what it was called. We reached out to Randy Wheeler. He's the guy that invented IVOS. He happens to be a close friend of one of our customers as well, so they helped put us in contact with him. Randy sold IVOS to Aon E-Solutions back in the mid-2000s. They then sold it to Ventive. But Randy's very comfortable living in Northern California. And so we pitched the idea, hey, we've got this product, and here's where we want to take it with the work comp side, and we need some expertise on that. And Randy thought it would be a fun project to work on with us. So we're going to be working with Randy to help develop out that work comp product. Initially, we're going to focus on a single state, and then start growing it from there. There's a lot of state dependencies with EDIs and complications, and then of course we got to figure out how to report to the federal stuff and everything as well. But that's a project that we'd started down the road in 2017, and that's the one that we kind of put the kibosh on. A lot of work goes into that, and like I said, we kind of bit off a little too much than we could chew. So we're regrouping on that one now, and probably about this time next year, maybe I'll have something to show everybody, or at least we'll have more to talk to about it, that's for sure. Thanks, Rise. So, where does that put us going into 2018? Well, of course, we still want to keep doing new things, right? So one of the big new things that we're hearing from customers is the need to have front-end marketing components. How can I get things out in front of potential customers where they can get indications, they can get quotes? How can I make it easier for my brokers to get quotes and things through our systems? So that's something that we're going to be looking at in 2018 is the front-end marketing piece for your programs. And we'll probably be reaching out to some of you guys and having some conversations. What's that look like for you and your organization? How much information is too much to put out there? How much is not enough? Those types of things. Don't have a whole lot of background around that just yet, other than the idea is, again, on the front end marketing side, pushing things out, the sales channel out from the program. One of the other items that we're going to look at in 2018 that I think it would be pretty exciting to start looking into is maybe integrating SMS into connections as well. So we have the email communication component in there. We're getting a lot of customer feedback around SMS now. Hey, how do I text message these guys? You know, we've got folks that aren't necessarily checking emails, but we want to be able to send out payment reminders. We want to send out helpful information, maybe via links. What goes into SMS and how do we do it? Turns out SMS is FCC regulated. It's not like email. You can't just blast people across SMS. So there is some work that's going to have to go into it. But being able to direct a channel out to your customers through SMS, to target people directly, and then also to have people SMS you, right? So if someone's responding or through a menu item or a bot of some kind, the SMSs come back in, okay? And in an actionable way, something you can take some kind of action on as well. So we're going to be working to put a project plan around that also. Something I've been talking about for a long time, and I don't know if 2018 is going to be our year to start working on it. I'd like to see us make some more steps towards it, is Office 365 integrations, right? Whether it's email or file storage or whatever that looks like, but a closer integration with Office 365. Those are the ones that'll interest you guys. We also got projects that we need to work on internally. We're going to continue to do the user experience build outs with Mike. You know, Connections is a big product. I mean, I got some customers here that have been using it for what, 5 years now, and said, hey, you guys got an audit dashboard? That's great. And we're like, yeah, it's been there forever. You know?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he's found it 2 weeks ago. So maybe a little on us for not educating the customer. They'll find out who that was, and we'll talk to them. But yeah, Connections is a big product. There's a lot that goes into it, so there's a lot of pieces that need to be touched. And I don't know if Mike iterated on it when he did his presentation, but it's not just about touching each page and making it look pretty. When he did the client main page, we got rid of what, 5 separate other pages, Mike? Is that what it was? Right? So taking a lot of bloat out of the app as well, right? And consolidating things down makes it run faster and better for everybody. In 2017, on the back end of things, you guys probably saw the announcement when I sent it out and probably didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it, but we also moved to Microsoft Azure SQL, right? So we got away from Microsoft SQL running on virtual machines into Azure's Cloud SQL. 2018, I'm gonna put Rich on the spot, maybe start working to move away from IIS on virtual machines and into web services. What's
That's
that
correct.
look like, Rich?
That's I'm trying to think is it in today's panel or tomorrow? Either way, yeah, I talk about that.
Oh, okay.
One of the panels. Yep.
Okay, great. So what that does for us and for Connections, on our side, it enables us to reduce some of our costs and overhead in managing the application on the DevOps side. But it also allows us to scale much faster. We can also then start to move the app much more quickly across the Azure data centers that are across the country. So if you're in different time zones and things, we might be able to address some of those needs as well. Again, instant scalability, instant on, and for us, greater cost control. So also on our roadmap internally are administrative tools for our software. You know, Trevor and his team, great bunch of guys. They work really hard implementing customers and importing data and things, but they need tools too, right? So having a tool set for our implementation team when a new customer comes in or work on an existing customer's project to say, I've got this kind of data and I need to transform it and then upload it into Connections, and to have a tool to do that rather than having to bang out SQL scripts all the time is going to make things go a lot easier and faster for us as well. So I know Trevor's beating the drum. I want tools. I want tools. It's a delicate balance between what the inside guys want and the customers want. It's the old saying, shoemaker's son has no shoes. So, we're going to spend some time in 2018 as well looking to build some tools to help automate some of our internal processes on implementing Connections also. So. I think that's about wrapping it up. I don't know, Trevor or Rich, did you guys have anything else you wanted to contribute as far as product, on the product side? No? Okay, so I rattled off a bunch of stuff here, and again, the ones that I think are the biggest client-facing ones are going to be the front-end marketing piece. We're going to finish up the analytics side, maybe the SMS stuff because we've gotten feedback around that. But I'd like to, open it up to you guys. What kind of things would you like to see us do, or not do? Is also a good one. Hey, don't do that claims thing. Yeah, no, spend more time on this. So anybody? Tyler.
Yeah, I have one. I want to preface this with CHSI is so much better than our prior system, so this is not a
yay
dig at all.
Give that man some poker chips.
Not only the responsiveness from the team, the software itself, much better. One thing I would love to see improved is the ability to have multiple policies within the same billing period. I talked to Mike about this earlier. It's a fairly common thing in insurance, either a short-term policy or a lineup with specific dates and things like that. And we're forced into an awkward parent-child relationship management that makes it more difficult to manage our book of business. So if there was a way to...
I was going to say, Colin's creeping in here. I know he's getting ready to jump on this one. So finish, Tyler.
Yeah.
Well, they're already doing it. It works.
We did it.
They did it already.
So you have a way to handle this.
You're good.
I'm really excited about that. I would love to talk to everybody about that before. So
Okay.
I will stop talking.
No, that's great to bring up. And that's what you mentioned earlier, when people just find out that they just had an admin tool for audits. We don't always think to tell everybody everything because we have everything. So they probably just never told me.
One of the things...
I've been recently working on it
Messing
with...
it up by touching it. Seriously.
Yeah, we can talk more about that tomorrow. One of the things I'm going to do, I'm not going to sit through the technical sessions with these guys, but I'm going to make myself available, and on the agenda I'll be giving Connections demos. So if anybody wants to sit down with me and just kind of walk through some of the things that Connections does that maybe you're not doing or you're not using it for, then let's sit down and walk through it and have a conversation. Yeah. We can point you and say, oh, these customers are doing it like this, or we now have these tools and some of those things. So, I mean, you guys all read my release notes, right? I mean, they're charming. I only had 3 people get back to me on the pizza comment. Only 3. I was a little disappointed. I thought that was one of my better remarks. So, thanks, Tyler. Anybody else have any questions or feedback? Greg.
Any thoughts or enhancements like for the coming year as far as like say a customer or client access if we have insurers or agents that are trying to run a report or something along those lines about improvements or additives?
Yeah. So with Izenda, we're going to be looking to move that into our portal solution as well. So you'll see the Izenda presentation here shortly about how it's going to look and work inside of Connections. The next part of that is moving it out into the portals where your customers could self-serve some of the reports or have access to dashboards and visualizations. Rich, did you want to add on to that?
Just that Izenda is so extensible and configurable that it's really, as we roll it out to more people outside the initial couple customers, and as we roll it out to your customers via the portals, it's going to allow you to slice and dice the data in so many different ways. But the portals definitely, it's going to be a lot longer just because we have to really work with each customer to expose only the data you want them to be able to see. And that's actually, I mean, I could literally turn this on tomorrow for all of you and for them, but I couldn't promise you not to show data you don't want them to see. So it's actually a little bit harder choosing like what can you see. Now most of you have full access to your databases. A lot of other competing software companies, they would feel worrisome about opening up Izenda because of the fact that they don't, but you guys all have full access to your databases, so you're already seeing everything. So this is more about your customers and us having to really lock it down. Izenda has a full security system, but still decisions have to be made. Yeah. That's it.
Cool. Yeah.
Any improvements or anything going with Evaluate?
You know, Evaluate. Rich smiles. Evaluate's one of my favorite little toys that we have. I was always really proud of Evaluate. If you guys aren't familiar with Evaluate, I'll be happy to show it to you later or tomorrow. It's our loss control tool for doing site surveys and things. It's kind of like a little survey monkey built into connections that you can use if you're a loss control guy out in the field and things like that. It's got really neat reporting stuff. I think we're doing a new report for BSA actually right now based on your scorecards. I don't know if your guys are using it, they better be. When we talk about Evaluate internally, we go a couple of different ways. One way is, it's gonna get rebranded. Mike's gonna be working on Evaluate actually when he's done with the CRM components. Because we feel that the CRM and Evaluate flows really well together, and Evaluate will benefit from being on a responsive platform. If you're on an iPad or an iPhone or something like that, being able to use the system. We also have discussions about if we're going to build an app, what is it going to be? Evaluate seems like a natural fit for that, right? So people can run it offline and things like that. So I have lots of ideas about Evaluate. I think it's really cool. Colin's probably making fun of me back there right now. But not for next year, other than perhaps getting, the UX features added to it once Mike gets a chance to touch it and move through it. So,
now a big part of UX, of course, is it's more than just prettying up the CSS or anything. It's going to be changing how the user flows through the system. So, I'll have Mike put you above the, he only contacts certain people as he goes through. But as we get to it, let's, if you have some things that you're like, this is kind of rough, or this is something that could be, improved, then a lot of those things will probably count as a UX redesign, as opposed to entirely new features, which probably have to be delayed after we kind of clean it up, modernize it a bit.
Right now, we're only doing one questionnaire, so it's not highly tracked.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Anybody else? Any other thoughts? Yeah,
This
Brian.
isn't about connections directly, but 2 or 3 times you mentioned, people not aware of features and that kind of thing. And somebody on the team mentioned that you were thinking about putting together some training videos if this is how this part of connections works.
Yep.
And I just can't tell you how helpful I think that would be, because a lot of times when it is explained to us, we don't have context yet. And so we forget by the time we actually are implementing that part of it or whatever. So that's something we talk about internally a lot. And I know Daniel, did Daniel take off? I know Daniel built a number of videos around the CRM component just as kind of an internal test for us to take a look at and see what those would look like.
They're all updated.
No, he just did them a few. Well, yeah, they are. It's before we rolled out the new UI. Yeah, so they're
instantly outdated.
Instantly outdated.
It's also outdated.
So with systems in connections like our CRM tools or something like Evaluate, the videos are pretty easy to do. Outside of that, everything we do for each customer is configured a little differently. So now, is it outside of the scope for us to say, hey, we want to do a quick 5-minute video on how your underwriting works specifically for you and to highlight, exceptions or rules? No, that's not out of, out there too far at all. And I'd say ask the guys to do one. I mean, we have the tools to do them, and it's something that we could do probably pretty quickly. As long as you don't expect it to be some kind of, professionally delivered, but just a quick narrative and a video. Hey, I need to remember how to do that. Let me walk through this little quick video here. And they go through the steps of maybe going through a quote or something like that, or how to post a payment, how to work with the ACH, or build a new claim form or something like that. Yeah, we can definitely do those.
Tell them what we do.
Yeah, go ahead, Shannon.
We internally, like you said, everybody does everything different, and we are very different from everybody else of what the way we operate on both work comp and the P&C side. So what Bonnie did in our office is a couple different things. The payroll reporting, we have the counties go in every quarter, report through the portals, their payroll, and then pay premium off of that. She just did a webinar and recorded the entire thing, and now it's posted out there in the portal. So any new payroll clerk, anybody like that, can just always go back to that. It's not, you know, a great commercial or anything like that, but it's going through everything slowly, step by step, and they can keep going back to it. And then she's also done she has some kind of a tool program that she uses that is kind of an upgraded on screenshots. So she does that with all of the directions and the arrows and all that, and just puts those together as a document that are out there on the portal to use as training for either internally in your office or portal users too. So yeah, it works great.
We got a program in Michigan. They couldn't make it to this session this year. They've always come in the past, but they do PowerPoints. And there's a way with, I'm not too familiar with it, but there's a way with PowerPoints to save it as a self-running animation. And they put those out internally and through their portal to their members as well. So they do them as training, they do them as reminders, they do them as whatever. They build these PowerPoints and people can run them and just let them run right through the system. On the portal side, we also have integrated with YouTube channels. I don't know if that's something that everybody's aware of as well. So, you know, if you've got training videos and things that you want to push out through the portal, we would configure that through a personal private YouTube channel now and feed it right through the portal that way. That way you can manage your own media and things without having to go through us. So.
You just upload the videos and set them as unlisted, and then that link is only accessible only to people who you've given them to. You put that into our system, and then inside the portal they show up. So it's pretty easy, straightforward, and YouTube's a great video platform. Right? It does a great job at rendering video. So
yeah. Some of the maybe we're in a different position than most of the people in the room, but a lot of this is there is nobody at Diamond yet that knows how it's supposed to work. So like that's why I use the audit dashboard as an example. Like nobody really knew that was there. I think there's a lot, and maybe that's more closely tied to somebody that's in the middle of implementation than somebody that's making it.
I think it's a great point, just because I'm very curious how many people who, if they were to see Lee's demo a year later, suddenly things would make so much more sense, and they'd be like wow, like I kind of remember seeing that, but I forgot about it because it just didn't come up again for 9 months or whatever.
Yeah, and then you start your implementation and you get into the weeds on something, right? And you don't visit audits until a year later. You know, so yeah, I get it. But yeah, going back to the original question, I think it's perfectly acceptable to ask, you know, Trevor and his crew, hey guys, shoot me a 5-minute how-to. You know, you'll see the mouse move, you'll hear their voice, click, 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 pop, 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 and then there you go. Yeah. Cool. Anybody else? Going once, going, Tyler.
Is there any plan to develop out the agency management side of things?
Yeah, not right now. Not right now. I know that we're a little limited what we can do with the agents function as far as tracking information on agents and things. But we haven't, you know, that's probably something we'll revisit when maybe Mike touches it on the UX side, to be honest. But we don't have any immediate plans to go in there and start ripping that one out. Yeah, sorry. Anybody else? All right, if there's no other questions, I want to offer up something. You know what, I probably should have thrown a slide together. At our user workshop last year, one of the pieces of feedback we got from folks was around how to communicate with each other, right? Is there some kind of forum, or can I post questions, or what's the easy way to reach out to you guys instead of email and things like that? We put together a Slack channel. If you guys are familiar with slack.com, it's well, they changed it now. It's called a work group, right? I think is what they call it, a work group. But it's CHSI, oh no, I'm sorry, it's connections with an S, users with an S, .slack.com. Connectionsusers.slack.com. And you can go in there, and there's going to be some channels in there by default. You know what, we got a few minutes. I'll bring it up here just real quick so you guys can see. I think it'll let me log in. But it's a great way to reach out to each other if you want to ping each other and to ping us. So it's connectionsusers.slack.com. And let me log in. All right. So again, it's just a message board interface. Some of our customers use it quite a bit. I know like Keith at Brentwood, he gets me on it all the time. You know, sometimes I'm like, are you still awake? You know, but you're gonna have some default channels here that you can participate in. I'll duck out of the way. General announcements and things. I also drop things like release notes in here as well for those that are following along. And then down below, you'll have the people that have signed up for this. So you can ping someone, you know, like Kyle sitting right there is logged into Slack. So is Todd, you know, and Urias. So it's a good way to reach out to them and maybe to each other if you want to bounce questions off of folks or throw something into a channel and get people's attention. So like on the product side here, if you got a product question, you jump in here and, you know, looks like Tyler asked a question a while back or threw out some feedback. You can throw it in there. Using the @ sign, so if you did like a shift at channel and use the term channel, that's going to send an alert out to everybody, just kind of get people's attention. So if maybe you throw something in there, nobody responds too quickly, drop an @ channel in there with a little bump or something, and maybe you get a response. But again, it's just a tool I'm trying to use as a communication forum for people to reach out, have questions. And of course, it all stays in one place, so it's a nice historical archive rather than, you know, bouncing emails and trying to find information through email. So if you're not on there, you should be able just to sign in. If it's not letting you sign in, come see me and I'll send you an invite. Yeah, Latoya.
Can we create an additional channel for digital experience so we can get to
Yeah, we'll set up a UX channel. You hear that, Mike?
I answer any Slack immediately. You hit me up personally or general. Yeah. I'm
that through general?
Yeah, or you can just throw it. You can just go right to Mike. Yep. So you'll be able to. You can find Mike in there.
either one I get notifications about.
Okay.
Yep. All right. So yeah, so if you got some questions about Slack, I'm happy to answer those. They got apps for Android, iOS, Windows Phone, poor Windows Phone. Anyway, all right. Anybody else got anything? How about from the CHSI team? You guys got anything you want to add?
Go to the general channel.
Yeah, I'm watching.
What did you just add? Oh, hey, there's a picture. Nice. Oh no. You can have fun with it too. One of the things that we do in our office, I don't even remember how this got started, but if you leave your computer and you don't lock it behind you, someone typically will sneak up behind you and write, "I love turtles." And then everybody sees that you love turtles. So, and really what it means is you got caught with your computer unlocked. Make sure you lock your computer when you get up. But yeah, you can definitely drop in things like GIFs and stuff. Yeah, hi. So, all right, cool. Anything else from the CHSI guys? You guys want to add anything? Talk about product? Any info that we want folks to know? No? Colin? No? Rich? No? All right, so then we're going to take, I had a half-hour break, so we'll take a half-hour break, and then we're going to pick up with the, I think it's the analytics Izenda presentation next. All right, thanks everybody.